Hey people, it is Wednesday, May the 26th, and it is 1:14 in the afternoon, and I'm here right on the corner of Parliament Street and Dundas Street East, and I'll be walking north along Parliament Street up to Bloor, and then I'll be walking west on Bloor to Yonge, and this is basically the northeastern quadrant of what is considered the boundary of downtown Toronto. If you imagine downtown Toronto as a big square, it would run from Queen's Quay in the south, Bloor Street in the north, Parliament Street in the east, and Bathurst Street in the west. If we're counting only major commercial streets, technically downtown Toronto runs to the Don River in the east, but let's just stick to Parliament Street being the last major commercial street on the east side. So I'll be walking basically along the boundary of the northeastern quadrant of downtown Toronto. Maybe in future videos I will do the other quadrants. And then maybe I'll do a live stream walking around the entire boundary of downtown Toronto. I'm not sure how long that would take. It might be a bit of a long live stream. So we're just passing by Regent Park right now. It's a very muggy day. It's only about 20 degrees right now, but it feels a lot warmer than that with the humidity, and I think it's supposed to get up to 26 degrees with the humidex up close to the 30-degree range. And there's rain in the forecast, so I brought my umbrella just in case. And here, this parcel of land was once some buildings that made up the old original Regent Park, and they were demolished to make way for a new phase of redevelopment. You can see another old remaining section just across the way there that will come down in the near future as well.
Perfect year for me to have off. To be honest with you, it's like this.
Here we are at Gerrard Street. So we're coming into Cabbagetown. And there's a look east along Gerrard Street. And there's a look west, straight down Gerrard Street. So this is the main commercial strip of the Cabbagetown neighborhood. So this is as far east as you can go downtown and be on a major commercial strip.
I don't know. I don't know.
You can see some of the places are getting their outdoor dining setups ready. We're not going to waste any time when the government does allow them to have outdoor dining. They want to get it up and going immediately, and I don't blame them. And there's a look into the Cabbagetown neighborhood itself. And you can see a nice mix of businesses along Parliament Street here in the neighborhood. And there's the dreaded no frills that I avoid like the plague. It's probably my least favorite grocery store within walking distance to my apartment. There's a nice old bank building that is still being used as a bank. A bit of a lineup here to get into the neighborhood home hardware store. And there's a look down Carlton Street into the core of the city. You see the Aura condominium dominating. And Carlton Street continues on into Cabbagetown. Canadian Contemporary Dance Theatre, and I'm pretty sure at one time this was an actual old movie theater. At least it's still being used for the arts. Kind of a neat sign here at Jet Fuel Coffee. I don't think they've stopped serving customers throughout the entire pandemic. And I saw an encouraging news story today that said despite a lot of the dire predictions that less than 5% of businesses in the city so far have actually gone under due to the lockdowns. They've been surviving off of government subsidies. I know a lot of people are saying like they expected at least half of the businesses to permanently shut down in the city, which seemed pretty dire indeed, but it's good to know that it hasn't come close to that. Yeah, we got a live one here. So I've come by here a number of times and I always point out this giant lizard. It's kind of cool. And I can hear, who is that? Is that Our Lady Peace? I believe that's Our Lady Peace. So I'll just keep on talking. That's actually early Our Lady Peace when I enjoyed their music. And you can see the towers of St Jamestown looming over the old low-rise buildings. It is very muggy, my goodness. There's some nice tasty looking bread. Absolute Bakery. And here we are crossing Wellesley Street East into Old Cabbage Town. Looking west. I've done a walk along the full length of Wellesley Street in an older video. So this is where the commercial section of Parliament Street comes to an end. And here's looking into St James Cemetery. This is one of the oldest cemeteries in the city. And it looks like those new condo towers are just about topped out. That project is called Via Bloor. Bloor Street being just a little ways up ahead. There'll be a fair amount of retail at the ground level of the new development along this eastern end of Bloor Street up ahead, which is good to see because it was a bit of a dead zone. Let's take a peek at some of the old graves here. Some of these go way back to the 19th century. Maybe sometime I'll do a video walking through the cemetery trying to find the oldest gravestone. All these towers here in St. Jamestown date from the late 1960s. Actually, some of them date from the late 1950s, the oldest ones. So basically, throughout the decade of the 1960s is when most of that was built up. So here we are at Bloor and Parliament. So this is the northeastern corner of the downtown, at least according to the boundaries that I've laid out, using only commercial streets. Had to blow multiple bugs off of me. Those little tiny flies that just sort of land on you and stick to your arms. It is incredibly muggy out here. When I left to shoot the video, I was thinking I hope it doesn't rain, but now I hope it does. I could use a little bit of a cool down. I'll just hold the umbrella over my camera and let the rain pour down onto my head. There's a look east along Bloor to where it eventually goes over the Bloor Viaduct, and then on the other side becomes Danforth Avenue, which will take you through Greektown. And this intersection is always a bit of a pain to get through as a pedestrian. The priority is obviously skewed towards vehicles here. Look at that, I pressed the button and everything and still I was not able to cross. Do I have to press it again? Finally. Alright, so now we've left the northern leg of the northeast quadrant of downtown, and now we're walking along the western leg, heading west here on Bloor Street. And there's a very nice breeze here. See some of the new retail spaces, the base of the Via Bloor project. And all this greenery here on this side is where the Rosedale Valley is, and there's a street down there, or I guess a road, Rosedale Valley Road, runs through the Rosedale Valley. And just on the other side of the valley is the Rosedale neighborhood. One of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the city, maybe the wealthiest. Some people might say the bridle path. And there's the Rosedale Valley footbridge. I've gone over there a number of times. That's the bridge that wobbles if you walk on it, or especially if you jump on it. So now we're coming in up to the really built up part of Bloor Street here. This is where you suddenly feel like you're in a big city, which you are. You've been in a big city the whole time, but this is where it suddenly starts to really become apparent. There's a look south down Sherbourne Street. Here's a new condo project. I believe this will be 52 stories. So it has quite a ways to go, and it will tower over everything around here. And here's the office of the National Post, which is one of Toronto's daily newspapers and also a national newspaper. Toronto has 4 daily newspapers. 2 of them are considered national papers, the other one being the Globe and Mail. And then the 2 mainly local papers are the Toronto Star and the Toronto Sun. Here's a little trivia. At one time, the Toronto Star was known as the Toronto Daily Star. And one of the co-creators of Superman, who is from Toronto, I believe his name was Joe Shuster, when he wrote the name of the newspaper that Superman worked at, or Clark Kent worked at, he named it the Daily Planet, which was inspired by the Daily Star from his time growing up in Toronto as a boy. And there's Mount Pleasant Road down there. It passes underneath Bloor Street here and eventually merges to become Jarvis Street. And here we have some kind of upscale apartment buildings or condo buildings. Some of them I believe are condos, some are apartments. And look at all those walking people. They're doing what I do. Now there's a look down Ted Rogers Way, which becomes Jarvis Street also. Mount Pleasant and Ted Rogers Way kind of converge up ahead and continue on as Jarvis Street south of that point. This is the manufacturer's Life building, which I believe is part of Manulife. And they have the most immaculately tended grounds, I think, of any building in the downtown area. Their lawn looks like AstroTurf, even though it's real grass. Yeah, Manulife head office. And this is one of the grandest old buildings in the north end of downtown, for sure. Sort of like the northern counterpart of the Canada Life building on University Avenue in the south end of downtown. It's not as tall, but it's still very nice to look at. Now we're approaching Church Street. Going south, that will take you through the Church Wellesley Village and further down through the Ryerson University campus. And here's the market by Longo's. I remember when this was an actual Longo's. It's a slightly more upscale supermarket chain, Longo's. Never really taken note of this building before with the dome. The Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. There we go, here's an opening. So the accountants have a pretty good looking old building here. Man, I didn't even notice we were passing by the Hudson's Bay Company store, just because it has such a god-awful exterior fronting onto the sidewalk. It looks like a bunker. And it's definitely worse for wear on the inside as well. It's in desperate need of a major upgrade to bring it up to the standard of most of their large downtown stores. There is another location, of course, on Queen Street at Yonge, which is the flagship store, and it is miles ahead of that old bunker in every way. And here is the base of 1 Bloor East. And looking up, and some more of the office towers here at Yonge and Bloor. And this corner will also soon have a giant tower, which is rising as we speak. That is 1 Bloor West, otherwise known as the One. And it will surpass 1 Bloor East here by quite a good margin. Something like almost 20 floors higher. And that's looking down into the Mink Mile along Bloor Street. So this is it. We've reached the end of this quadrant of downtown, the northeastern quadrant. So in some future videos I will probably do the other 3 quadrants. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a comment below, and like and share, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. And tell your friends and your family, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's a link in the description where you can do so via PayPal. And you can also find a link to my new merch store. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue.